Welcome to this basic tutorial of Sibelius. So I'm going to talk about three main things here. The first are basic tools, just giving you a quick overview of the basic tools of Sibelius. The second are basic inputs, so how you can input things into the software. And then the third is basic formatting, so how you can format the document, the music, your score. All right, so there's lots more to cover, but this hopefully will give you enough general information to get started with Sibelius. So when you open Sibelius, you'll be taken to this page here, and you can search here for whatever instrument you're writing for. If you're writing for guitar, you can type in guitar and it's got that ready for you. If you want to add tab, you can do that too, but I'm not familiar with tab. That would be a whole other tutorial, I think. But so you click on guitar, double click on that, and then the file is ready to go. So let me just walk you through a few basic tools here. So the first really important thing to be aware of is up here, the toolbar. So the toolbar here, you've got all of these menus up here, which we'll go through some of those a bit later on in more detail. And within each tab, you've got different options as well. So check out the toolbar, check out the different options you've got there. I'll be covering a few of these, but if you want to look at them in a bit more depth, you can do that. So the next really neat feature about Sibelius is the ribbon, which is this basically a search function up the top here. So if you have any sort of question or anything you want to find, you should be able to find it using the ribbon. So if we want to say put a bar line in or something, it tells us where to find that. So notations, common, bar line. So if we go to here, notations, and then common, bar line, there are bar lines there. All right, so the ribbon is a really useful search function you can use. The final basic tool to be aware of is the keypad. So the keypad is down here. If you don't see the keypad, because it's not always there, it's not a default thing to have, but it is really useful. If you don't see it, you can type it in ribbon, keypad. Oop, let me spell that right, keypad, yeah. And then that's in view, panels, keypad. So I go to view, I go to panels here and keypad. So that's where you can make the keypad show up. All right, so the keypad has lots of really basic inputs like note values and rests and symbols like that, beaming, some other types of symbols. All right, so a lot of the really standard types of inputs you'd put into some music. Okay, so there's a really, really quick overview of the three basic tools there. The toolbar, which is up the top here, you can explore that, each of these tabs. And then you've got the ribbon up here on the right-hand corner, where you can, write a question or, something you're looking for, and it will tell you where to find it. And the third one is the keypad, where you can, a lot of the general inputs that you want to use will be found here. Okay. So the next main topic here I want to talk about are basic inputs. So inputs are like, adding notes, adding symbols, and adding text, adding things into the blank music here. So to add notes, let's begin with that. It's probably, it's pretty important thing to do when you're writing music. So to add notes, you click on the bar that you want to add the notes to, go to the keypad, and you can click on a note value, any particular note value you like. So, if you want to put crotchets in or quarter notes, press the quarter note. If you want to do a minim or a half note, you can do that. A whole note or a semibreve, you can press that. Okay, so that gives you the note value. And then to actually add a note, a pitch in, you can use the keyboard and just press the letter name. So if you want to put a C in, I press C. And there we go. That's C as a quarter note, as a crotchet. If you wanted to change that note value, you can just select the note. You can just click on it, or you can use the arrows, the arrow keys left and right to sort of go across like that. Select it and then click on the note, click on your desired note value there. All right, so that's note input. So, C there, and then if I go across and I press D, that'll do a D. And if I press E, it'll go across, give me an E, press F. So I'm just clicking the letters there for the notes that I want to use. If you've got your sharps and your flats and your naturals here, if you want to make any of those into a sharp or flat or natural. Okay, so that's really, really basic note input there. And I guess same goes for rests. So if you want to put a rest in, let's say you put a note in, you change your mind and you want to rest, just press delete. And then you can change the value of the rest by clicking these as well. All right, so basic note values there. Adding notes into the score. The next thing is to add symbols. So there's a whole variety of symbols to choose from. Some of the basic symbols you want are located in the keypad. So if you want a tie, for example, let's say you've got like something like this, you want a tie from that E to that E, you can just press the tie there. If you want to put a staccato, you can do that. If you want to put an accent, you can do that. Tenuto, you can do that there. So you've got quite a few symbols there in the keypad. Another place to go to would be the ribbon. If you want a particular symbol, there are so many. If you want, let's say you want to put a trill in, okay, that's one type of symbol. You can put that into the ribbon. So you can use the ribbon if you need to find a more specific symbol. But a lot of the symbols you want, a lot of the basic ones are in the keypad, and then just exploring, particularly notations and text tabs here will give you a lot of symbols you're looking for. So in the notations, clicking on this drop down menu here, you've got a lot of indications and symbols there to choose from. And the same with the text. If you click on styles here, you've got a few options there too. Okay, there's a ton of symbols to choose from, so I can't really give you a thorough sort of go through that. You just have to find things using the ribbon or look through these menus a little bit until you sort of know where things are. But it does get easier as you use it, the more you use it. And then another important part about basic inputs is text. So to add text, now you can click on the text box here, and then you've got some options here about certain types of text that you might want to input. So you can do that. Another option is if you press Command T, so this is on a Mac, and press Command T and click on where you want the text, and then you can just write it in. That's what I often do. So Command T, or maybe Windows T if you're using a Windows computer. Command T, click where you want it, and then you can write. It's kind of a bit more flexible that way if you like to do it that way. But if you're looking for more specific, pre-done texts like a title, for example, if you press title, that will be ready to go up the top as though it were a title. You don't have to sort of format it. It's pre-formatted, those texts there. Okay, so you can find some different things. You've got handy ones, boxed text and copyright and dedication and all that kind of thing. And we'll look at a couple more of these in the next section. But there you go. So adding notes using the keypad there. Adding symbols also using the keypad. A lot of symbols will be here in the notation tab. Some you might find here as well. Like pizzicato, for example, and dynamics. And adding text, you can also go to text, the text tab, and you can find some pre-formatted texts there, or you can press Command or Windows T and just add the text wherever you like manually. Okay, if you want to format that text, I'll just add that. You can do that by, if you want to format that text, if you click the text tab, you can change the, let's write something like that, and then you can select, you can write something, you can select it, and then you can actually change the font, you can change the size, you can change the style and all that. Okay. All right, so there is some things about basic inputs. The last topic I want to talk about is basic formatting. So this is to do with the sort of the layout of your score and how you can lay out your score in different ways. There's a little bit of flexibility with Sibelius. So one of the things I use a lot is to group the bars into staves or systems. So if you want to have, let's say, 4 bars per system, what you need to do is select the bars you want. So let's say we want those 4 bars, and the way I do that is I click the first one, I hold Shift, and then I click 3 bars later, so that gives me 4 bars like that. Then you go to the Layout tab and click Make into System, like so, and then that will make those 4 bars into one row or one system, like that. Really, really handy, because if you have a lot of music on one system, it can get really squashed. So that can really help to space things out. The other thing that's very handy as well, you can see, like, if this was full of music, it would be a lot of systems per page. So you can also select the number of bars you want or the number of systems you want. Let's say maybe we'll do 4 systems. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Same kind of process here. I'm holding Shift and just selecting the bars. And then if I click Make into Page, then that puts it into a page, and it kind of locks it in for you. So that can really help with the formatting. All right, so just went to the Layout tab, select your bars, Make into System, and select your systems or bars, and you can make into page. Really, really handy for formatting, making things look neater and tidier. The next thing I want to talk about with formatting is voices. So in music, especially guitar music, you'll probably have different voices, at least 2, like a bass and a treble. So, I've got this treble voice here, and in the keypad you can see it's blue and it's selected as voice number 1. Now, if I wanted to add a note below, I can do this by a couple of ways. Well, my favorite way is to hold Shift and press the interval you want that's below. So if I hold Shift and press 8, I'll get an octave below that note. If I just pressed the number 8, I'd get an octave above the note. Okay, so that's just a little shortcut there to do with, adding notes above and below. And then to make those 2 notes into different voices, grab your bottom note, and then the lower the number, the higher the voice will be. Kind of doesn't make sense, but number 1 will be like your soprano voice, number 2 will be your alto, number 3 your tenor, and number 4 will be your bass. So we'll make that a bass voice, and now you can even change the value of that bass voice without affecting the soprano voice. Okay, so that's voicing. If you have, now if I want to add a third, let's make a 4 voice texture here. So I'll press 3 and 3 again. So we'll get a nice, nice C major chord there. But if we wanted each note to be a separate voice, this can be voice 4, this E can be voice 3, this G can be voice 2. And there we go. Okay, and then you can press the letter X if you press the letter X, you can flip the stems, flip the beams to whatever you like, to your liking. So if you want that beam to be down for whatever reason, just press X. That flips the beams up and down, okay? For each individual voice, you can do that. All right, just pressing the letter X. Okay, so voicing there is really a lot to do with the keypad, and then, you know, flipping the beams as you like. Another thing you can do to clean up the score a little bit, especially when you have multiple voices, is what you're going to end up with is each voice will also have rests, you know, associated in the bar. So you can see how, even though we've got minims here in these lower voices, we also have minim rests. We should have, there should be another one. It's hiding behind the E there, right? So I'll just grab that one. There's another rest there, right? So we've got the, fourth voice rest there, minim rest, the second voice minim rest there, and the third voice minim rest there. I don't know why that one went so high. Probably should be down there like that. Okay, it looks a little bit messy. I mean, if you wanted to leave it, you could, but I would be tempted to delete them. And the way to do that is to select them and press delete. Select and delete. And then, now they're kind of gray like that, but if you export to PDF, they won't show up anymore, those rests. So that's a way to neaten that up. And sometimes that can affect the beaming of other voices. So just select the note and press X and flip the voices. Okay, one more little thing I just want to add here is, because I kind of did this by accident just a moment ago, is that if you select a bar, an entire bar, or if you select a bunch of notes, you can use the up and down arrow keys to just instantly transpose those notes up and down. So if I press down, everything goes down a step, down again, down a step automatically, up goes up. Okay, so that's another sort of thing there to do with notes and voices, and yeah, so it makes transposing very, very easy, almost too easy. So a lot of fun to just use the up and down keys like that. All right, so voices. Another great formatting tip is copying and pasting. Okay, so if you wanted to copy and paste this bar, you just select it, and just like you do in, you know, Word and emails and stuff, you press Command C or Windows C if you're using Windows, and then paste where you like. You can paste anywhere you like. All right, so there's a great copy and paste function, very, very handy, saves you a lot of time. You can select, you know, like snippets as well of things, and you can paste them, you know, so you can really save time. Like if you just wanted 2 or 3 notes from one bar, you just select them, and I'm holding Command. So to select multiple objects or multiple notes, I'm holding Command, pressing Command, and then clicking on the things that I want to select. You can go down to the individual notes, so I can do that, and then that copies a very specific sort of group of notes there. So just hold Command or Windows to select what you want, copy, Control C, Command C, and paste with Command V. Very, very handy, and you can do that for, you know, entire pages if you want. If you want to copy a whole page of music, I don't have a whole page, but let's pretend there was a whole page of music. I press copy, select it all, press copy, and then paste it over here, and it would paste it for me. So really handy function there for formatting. And the final one is to do with beaming. So I did talk about beaming in terms of the direction of the beam, if it's up or down, but you might want to group notes a certain way. Let's say you had some notes like that, and you can see what it's done automatically. I just pressed D multiple times with the quaver rhythm, the 8th note rhythm, and it beamed it automatically for me. Like these 4 are beamed all together, and these 2 are beamed together, and they're separated from those 4. But if you go to the keypad option here, to the 3rd tab at the top, it gives you some different options for beaming. And so if I wanted to beam this note with these 4, I could press like that, and then that beams that, and then say I want that one to join in, just press that one, beaming it, to the right. If I wanted to separate them, you can press the separated one like that. If I wanted to beam these 2 back together, I'll do that. So beaming that one to the left. So you can beam those. So I can do that and then press that if I wanted them to separate. All right, so beaming is a really important, also a really important aspect of formatting. Okay, so there we go. I think, there's lots to cover. That's a really, 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 really general, basic overview of Sibelius. But it's a really great program. I've been using it for a long time, so it's quite intuitive for me. But I strongly suggest getting acquainted with it. It's once you are fluent with these features, it works very well. You can get things down very quickly, and it looks great too. The end product, I think, is really cool. So hope that was helpful, and enjoy Sibelius. Thank you.